the past 20 years, my wife and I have actually been taking trips to Alaska. Haven't gone every year, but we do get up there most years. And honestly, Alaska is the most amazing place on the planet. So this particular trip, we flew into Ketchikan, and we took that little puddle jumper into an area called Karta River Wilderness. And it's an area that anybody can go to. You have to access it via float plane, or you can get there via boat as well. A little river called Karta River. There's a couple of cabins in the area that you can actually get from the Forest Service. People that like to fish this area may be real angry at me for sharing this with you, but really cool area to go and check out. So anyway, I thought I would just kind of share a video of this. I've been a lot of different places in Alaska. I've been to the Brooks Range to Katmai, king salmon, the Naknek, the Kenai Peninsula, the Matsu Valley, Denali, up around Fairbanks. And honestly, the different kinds of fish you can catch in different area is just incredible. Now, on this trip, this was an area that I didn't actually plan the timing or anything like that. My brother actually had planned a trip up to that area, and then I just kind of scheduled this to the side of it. And it was pretty rainy most of the time, so I don't have a lot of footage. It was really mostly one afternoon where the sun was out enough to get some. But so this fish right here, that's a pink salmon. And that's mostly what we caught. There was trout, so this is trout fishing. My personal favorite thing to do in Alaska is the trout fishing. They're big. My best fish in Alaska was a 28 1/4 inch rainbow. That's a pretty rare size, even for people that spend a lot of time up there. So 28 inches, you're talking massive trout. But I've probably caught 100 in the 23 to 26 inch range in my trips up there, which in the lower 48, I've caught, trout maybe 15 in that range. So, and I've spent a lot more time fishing the lower 48 than I have Alaska. So your chances of catching really big fish up there are pretty incredible. So this Karta River, it's all sight fishing, or can be. The trout I couldn't see. Now, there are different areas around Alaska, different river systems that have more sand and gravel and stuff. And you can actually sight fish for big rainbows, big Arctic char, big dollies, in behind the salmon. This particular location, this is a Sitka deer there in the background, but this particular location, it was so rocky and bouldery that it was very difficult to actually spot the trout. And honestly, the trout here weren't very big. Now, we were fishing below the lake. There are actually 2 lakes on this river system. I think if you fished above the lakes, you'd have trout follow those salmon up out of those lakes, and you'd have some better trout. Now, having said that, like the fish we were catching, the pinks, a lot of them had sea lice on them, which is a good thing. They were so fresh. You can see it in this picture. There's hundreds of pinks out here. So in the 2 days that we were there, we easily landed over 200 pinks. And some people don't view pinks as all that sporting of a fish. I don't understand that. They may be the most sporting of all the salmon, the most willing to hit a fly, the most willing to hit really anything. Silvers, I ended up catching one silver. I don't have that on film here. The silvers are a bigger fish. They're my favorite salmon. But silvers can get spooked and put off really quick, where you can have great days silver fishing, and I have, but you can also have it completely dead. Where pinks, if there's pinks around, you can usually tease them into start hitting. Now, so if you ever go up there, in a lot of Alaska, pinks are an every other year fish. So not in the Ketchikan area and on this Karta River system. They're an every year fish, but there are areas in Alaska where they're every other year. They make up a whole lot of the biomass that comes up into these different river systems. They're the smallest of the Pacific salmon. Most of them are going to be in like that 3 to 5 pound range. We caught a couple that were pushing 10 pounds. So there's a couple black bear cubs right there. We actually saw 11 black bears the first day, 4 the second, and then 3 the day we flew out of this area. So 2 full days there, and then 1 morning and 1 evening. A little bit more trout fishing here, but once the salmon come into these river systems, egg patterns are going to be your best. Pink salmon eggs are around 6 millimeter. Your king and your chum salmon, which I didn't see any chum in this river system at all, are generally going to be 10 millimeter, and then your sockeye and your coho or silvers are going to be 8 millimeter. Color wise, anywhere from like a bright orange for a fresh egg, almost to a tan color, beige-ish as the eggs get older and die in the rivers. If their fish aren't being hit very hard, there's not a lot of people fishing. Honestly, you throw any colored bead, they're probably going to hit it, the trout. And then as far as the salmon goes, if it was really sunny, what seemed to work better was a purple egg-sucking leech. And if we had a lot of cloud cover for the rest of the time during the cloudy days, they actually seem to really like the pink egg-sucking leech. And really, honestly, those pink egg-sucking leeches I tied those for silvers, but they worked really well for these pinks too. But you can just see the amount of fish that are in this little area right here. You could literally snag one every cast if you wanted to. Getting them to actually hit takes a little bit more effort, changes in your speed. So, usually I'll start with a little bit of a swing and let it swing through if it's some faster current. Then I'll jig it a little bit. And then to get the ones that maybe aren't that aggressive and are hanging back, then you start stripping fast and then pause. So what will happen is you start stripping fast and moving this quickly through these areas. Some of the pinks are going to come out and start to follow it, but they won't ever catch up to it. So you gotta strip, pause, wait for a minute. Now, if you can see it, that's the best because you'll see them coming after it. You can pause it. In that case, you want to use a light fly. And when I'm doing that, I don't like to have any weight on the fly at all. Pink or purple egg-sucking leech with just no weight. Strip, pause. You'll see them eat it, and then set the hook. If I can't see, if the visuals aren't there to be able to see, I still do the same thing. Strip, pause. Strip, pause. I want to give those salmon a chance to actually catch up and eat it. Because like I said, a lot of times they'll follow it at the same speed and they'll never eat it if it doesn't stop. So you got to really make sure you stop and give them a chance. But anyway, awesome place, awesome trip.